Hey guys, how you going? Mel here. Today I'm going to be talking about Greninja, and he's a character I've been playing a lot of recently. I really love him, and he's a great attacker because he puts out so much damage, he can heal, and he has insane amounts of maneuverability around the map. This allows him to get into a fight, pick off a character or two, get out, and he survives. He can then heal up and get back into the fight again. He can take down so many people very easily, and he's very hard to catch because he's quite quick as well. So let's get into the moves. I'll tell you which moves I prefer and why. We'll talk about the best items so you can get the most out of your Greninja play, and then we're going to talk about how you should be laning and playing him into the late game so you can end up with a whole bunch of kills and you can take down those wins. And if this video helps you, don't forget to subscribe and chuck a like on the video as well because it really helps me out. And remember, you can check me out at twitch.tv/MetalFear4. Alright, the first thing I want to cover are the moves, and most importantly, I want to cover his auto attack. Greninja's auto attack is very unique because if you're going long distance or if you're going short distance, his attack actually changes. He can do a bubble attack from a distance, but if he's close, he swipes at the opponent. Now, as normal, every third attack is boosted. If you're further away and your third attack is a long-range attack, what that does is it decreases the movement speed of the opponent. If you are close range, what it does, if that opponent is lower HP, that swipe attack on the third attack does extra damage. So what you want to do is to make sure that when you're finishing off your opponents or they're getting low, you're as close as possible because you're putting out extra damage and you get that kill faster. This is even more important to know when you're farming against random Pokemon as well. You want to be able to farm a lot faster if you're closer and you're hitting that swipe attack instead of doing it from long range. So already based on the auto attacks alone, there's a few different ways you can play Greninja. Now, I did say earlier that he has so much maneuverability, and you can use this to get in close to your opponent, so then you can use that swipe attack to finish it off when they're nice and close and you're doing a lot of damage. And Greninja's passive ability is Torrent. So that means when he has half HP or less, you're actually doing increased damage and you have increased movement speed as well. To start off with, you have two moves, Bubble and Substitute. Substitute is a dash which leaves behind a little dummy that your opponents can attack. Bubble is damage and it also slows the opponent. Pretty self-explanatory. At level 5, now you get a dash. You can choose between Double Team or you can choose between Smoke Screen. Now, Double Team, I'm not that big of a fan. What it does is you dash forward a little bit and it creates illusions behind you. And these illusions are meant to help you in battle, but they really don't. They're very easy to be able to tell which is real and which is not. You can see which is the real Greninja. They don't do all that much for you. So I always pick Smoke Screen. I really like Smoke Screen because you might have seen before when you're versing Greninja, your field of vision is very much limited, which is great for sneaking around, being able to set up ganks or to get away. What you can also do with Smoke Screen is that it increases your movement speed for a little while afterwards as well, and it also increases your next boosted attack. When you upgrade Smoke Screen, it also boosts your attack for a short time as well. So you can use this both offensively and defensively. I've used Smoke Screen before to get into the start of the fight. My team are backing me up, but the opponents can't see them coming. They just think I've gone in by myself. Before they know, the Smoke Screen is over and the entire team has surrounded them and we've got onto the front foot. We're going to take that fight down quite easily. Okay, level 7 here, you've got a pretty tough decision. You can choose between Water Shuriken or you can choose between Surf. Now, in the latest patch update, what they did is they buffed Water Shuriken and nerfed Surf. They're trying to get more people to pick Water Shuriken. But after all this, I still prefer Surf, and let me explain why. Water Shuriken is a great move, and it's only at a 5-second cooldown, which is really, really low. It's awesome for taking down things like Dreadnought or Rotom. You can do it a couple of times in the battle. You can do Water Shuriken a couple of times in team fights as well. Put out a lot of damage. What I don't like about Water Shuriken is that it's quite janky. If you're using Water Shuriken, it stays in that direction. If you're using an opponent and they're moving or you're moving, all of a sudden you might be missing some of those shurikens. What I wish it did was to stick on that target even if you moved. If you want to hit all of the Water Shurikens, it's almost an advantage to stay still, which is really against the grain of how you should be playing your Greninja, which it should be moving around all the time. Water Shuriken slows down the opponent, it heals you, it increases your movement speed. Lots of great things are happening here, but I just don't like that you miss some of those attacks if you're moving around. I don't like having to alter my playstyle to make sure that I'm standing still to hit it. But if you're versing something like a Dreadnought, doesn't matter if you're staying still, you can absolutely melt it with this. Now let's look at Surf. Now Surf has so many different things all wrapped up into one move. First of all, it's a dash, so even more movement and maneuverability around the map, which is awesome, especially someone like Greninja. It is an AoE, hits more Pokemon at once. It is able to heal you, just like Shuriken does. But the most important thing about Surf, and why I pick it over Water Shuriken every time, is if you kill a Pokemon using Surf, it resets the cooldown. It is insane. This also counts not just on the enemy's Pokemon, but on wild Pokemon as well. You can time up your Combies and your Vespiquens. Surf, 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 surf. You kill them all very, very quickly. The cooldown keeps resetting, and each time you surf, it continues to heal you. You can get a very, very big heal going on. If you're able to time this well in a team battle, you're hitting off multiple surfs. It is insane the amount of damage that you can do, and you can heal up all at the same time. It's also an AoE, so it puts out massive damage on the enemy. The extra maneuverability, plus it being an AoE, but mainly the cooldown being reset, is why I choose Surf over Water Shuriken. Now, Water Burst Shuriken is the Unite ability for Greninja. What it does is you throw a Shuriken at an area, then after a second it explodes and does damage and slows the opponent. You're also able to jump around a little bit as well, so it gives you a little bit more maneuverability. Now, this is a great attack, does quite a bit of AoE damage, but you have to be careful when you're using it, because if the opponent is a bit quick, it's able to get out of the way of the ability and you miss. So what you have to do is make sure that you're using this in team fights or when the opponent is not moving around too much. You can't really use this to chase down. If it's moving, you're going to miss. All right, now let's start looking at items. Now, for battle items, I'm still going to take the eject button on pretty much everything. Even after they nerf the cooldown a little bit, it's still just an amazing item. I'm still going to take it. Even with all the other maneuverability options that Greninja has, I'm still going to take the eject button. Now, for the held items, I'm going to take Buddy Barrier, Muscle Band, and Focus Band. Buddy Barrier is something I use on every single Pokemon right now. It is so huge, and it's really going to boost your Unite abilities and boost your team play. I'm going to use Muscle Band for the attack speed and the attack damage as well. Perfect for someone like Greninja. And lastly, Focus Band is a very, very useful item. Gives that defense that Greninja needs because it's very, very squishy. And when you're getting low HP, you can get that massive heal as well, which can keep you into a fight. All right, now let's go into the laning phase. Now, what you want to do, if possible, is you always want to take the jungle as Greninja. The reason for that is that he's very, very squishy when he's in the lanes. You want to make sure you can get the jungle and then you can get that level boost, because if he's under-leveled, he's pretty useless. He's squishy. He's going to die, and you're not going to have much of an impact on the game. If you're able to take that jungle, then you're able to get a bit of a level lead early on, and then you can start impacting the game, and you can start snowballing. You're going to be ahead in those team fights, and you're going to be able to put out massive amounts of damage. You want to make sure when you find these jungle Pokemon that what you're doing is you're staying up nice and close. Look for that little ring that is around Froakie or Greninja while you're battling, because that little ring around you is going to tell you that you're in range to do a close attack rather than a ranged water gun or bubble attack, and it means that when the Pokemon gets low HP, you're going to put out more damage. That means you can farm through those creeps or the Pokemon in the middle a lot faster, which means you've got more time to gank or to start farming and gain that level lead earlier on. It's really important that you're not just staying in the jungle for too long, and you're helping out your lanes and you're ganking, especially around that time when the Vespiquen and the Combi are about to spawn. You're able to get in, and Greninja has the ability to get in, take a quick kill, and get out if possible. You can really help that lane succeed. Now, if you're going to build him like I'm suggesting in this guide, so you've got Surf, you've got Smokescreen, you've got the eject button, you've got your ulti. There's so many different ways that you can maneuver around the map, and you can maneuver around a team fight in itself. You're able to get in, do damage, get out, and make sure you're not dying. If you're timing your Surf ability correctly, you're going to make sure you're picking off those Pokemon and resetting your cooldown so you can do multiple Surfs within a fight. You're getting lots of heal, you're staying alive. What you can also do is make sure that if there's wild Pokemon around, if you can time those Surfs as well, what you can do is kill that Pokemon, and then you're able to reset the cooldown on Surf. You're able to use it again. Now, just overall, make sure you're playing with your team. Greninja does a lot of damage, but he's really squishy, so if you're not playing with your team, you're going to die. Make sure you're using your team to help you out. Make sure you're ganking those lanes and helping them as well with their lanes. What you also need to do is make sure you're taking those Dreadnought fights. Take that down, get that massive XP boost. It's really going to help you with your game, help you snowball, and keep that level lead to make sure that you're going to be destroying your opponents. When you're doing your team fights, make sure you keep moving around as well. Make sure you keep healing with either Shuriken or with Surf, so you're always moving, you're doing some damage, you're picking off opponents, you're keeping yourself alive, and in the end, you're going to have a massive lead going into that Zapdos fight at the end. So let's put up an overall summary for this Greninja guide here. I'm going to do Surf and Smokescreen. I'm going to use the eject button. I'm going to do the Buddy Barrier, the Muscle Band, and the Focus Band, and then we're going to get a lot of Pokemon kills. We're going to do a lot of damage, and we're going to make sure we're scoring lots and we're winning lots as well. That all sounds easy, right? Good luck with it. I think Greninja is an awesome Pokemon to use, and he's lots and lots of fun. He's a bit harder to use than some of your other characters, but give him a go. I think you'll fall in love with him just like I have as well. You'll be able to get some massive kills on the board. I hope this video was helpful, guys. If it was, make sure you subscribe by clicking the button down there. I've got plenty more Unite guides for you to check out and for you to improve your overall gameplay. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.